It begins quietly. Not with explosions, not with panic, but with paper. A folded report is placed on a table inside a German command room. Maps cover the walls, pins mark coastlines. The atmosphere is calm, but tense. German commanders had been expecting an invasion, just not this one. Not here. Not now. For months, they believed the main Allied landing would come at a different location. Everything pointed there. Weather patterns, enemy deception, past logic. And so, when the first messages arrive from Normandy, they are not alarms. They are questions. Small landings, limited force, possibly a diversion. The commanders exchange looks. This is not new. They had planned for this scenario. The belief is simple. Hold position. Wait. The real invasion will come elsewhere. Hours pass. More reports arrive. Not dramatic ones, just persistent. More ships than expected. More aircraft activity, communication disruptions, strange movements on the map. A finger traces the coastline slowly. Someone mutters, "This is lasting longer than it should." Still, no one panics. German commanders were trained not to overreact. They had seen feints before. They trusted their intelligence. They trusted the plan. But plans depend on timing. And timing was beginning to slip. By mid-morning, the tone changes. The reports are no longer small. They are no longer isolated. Multiple landing zones, sustained presence, enemy forces not retreating. One commander leans closer to the map. Another removes his glasses. The room grows quieter. Someone finally says it out loud. This may not be a diversion. Silence follows. Because if this is not a diversion, then something far worse is happening. Something irreversible. The German defense system was built on rapid response, on moving forces quickly to crush landings before they could grow. But those forces were not moving, not because they didn't exist, but because they were waiting. Waiting for confirmation. Waiting for orders. Waiting for a threat that might never come. The commanders now face a terrible realization. By waiting too long, they may have already lost control. Another report arrives. Enemy forces are establishing supply routes. Temporary positions are becoming permanent. Air support remains constant. This is no longer a landing. This is a foothold. A commander taps the map harder than necessary, not in anger, in disbelief. They had calculated everything: distances, response times, enemy capabilities. But they had underestimated one thing: coordination. The Allies were not improvising. They were executing a plan refined down to the smallest detail. And now, German commanders could see it unfolding in real time, line by line, pin by pin. Requests are sent for armored units to move. The responses are delayed. Conflicting authority, unclear permissions. Every minute matters, and minutes are being lost. One officer finally speaks what everyone is thinking. If we do not act now, we may never push them back. But acting now is no longer simple. Air superiority has shifted. Movement is risky. Communication is fragmented. The map no longer looks stable. It looks fragile. Pins that once marked secure territory are now surrounded. Routes that once connected defenses now feel exposed. The commanders are no longer reacting to reports. They are reacting to consequences. This is the moment. Not when the first troops landed. Not when the first ships appeared. But when German commanders realize that control has slipped beyond recovery. The invasion has succeeded. Not because of chaos, but because of momentum. And momentum is something that cannot be ordered to stop. Faces in the room reflect the change. Not fear, not panic, clarity. They understand now that the war has entered a new phase. The Western Front is no longer theoretical. It is active, permanent. One commander quietly folds the report and sets it aside, as if acknowledging that what it describes can no longer be undone. Another stares at the map without speaking. This is not defeat, but it is the end of certainty. German commanders had always believed they could contain the invasion, delay it, redirect it, break it. Now they understand something far more dangerous. The Allies do not need to win today. They only need to stay, and they are staying. As evening approaches, orders continue to move slowly. Decisions are debated instead of executed. Every delay widens the gap. What began as a question has become a conclusion. The landings were not a test. They were the answer, and the answer is irreversible. In that quiet room, surrounded by maps and markers, German commanders are no longer asking if D-Day will succeed. They are asking what comes next. Because once the Allies gained a foothold, the outcome was no longer about beaches or weather. It was about time. And time was no longer on Germany's side. History would later remember D-Day as a single day. But for those watching the map in real time, it was a slow, unfolding realization that the war had just turned, and nothing could turn it back.